Hello, everyone. It's Jerry at the Fledge, and welcome to another episode of Every Damn Day. I'm back in my normal spot today. I've got my original Fledge T-shirt that I tried to make, my first one ever. I didn't do it right. I didn't flash dry it, so it washed off. So succeed or learn. It reminds me of that. So I'm being showing you my mistakes and how we learn from them. So. Want to give a couple shout outs. Thisent.com, getting really involved with the community and doing a lot of positive stories. Want to give a shout out to the drawing club that's going to be here tonight. They bring in a live model, and if anyone out there wants to practice drawing and get involved, hit us up and we'll get you hooked up with them. And what's the other thing? Oh yeah, pro wrestling is coming back. So Capital Pro Wrestling on July 17th. Start looking for that. So now I would like to introduce you to my great friend, Miss Clarisa Treviño. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing good, Jerry. How are you?
I am good. I'm so happy to see you today. How's life been going today?
Life has been, of course, super busy, two babies, and of course they're not feeling good. So, just trying to get them to start feeling better. So, yay!
Yeah, we'll send some positive vibes that way, and you're always impressive because you are juggling so much, and moms have a great job, a tough job, and
yeah, we're
super strong. Yes. So let's get into you a little bit. Where were you born and raised, and where'd you go to school, and what brought you to what you do now?
This is a really fun question that I love answering because a lot of people probably wouldn't think that I came from this, but so I was born in Lansing, Michigan, to a single parent. She had to work very hard to get what we had, and we still didn't have a lot. We came from an impoverished home where we probably lived either at or below poverty level for the majority of my life. There were times that we didn't have water. There was times we didn't have electricity, and just watching my mom, work as hard as she did for as little as what we had, it inspired me to kind of keep going. So one of my biggest things, even in high school, when I was dealing with people, like friends getting into drugs and skipping school, I was always one of those people that I knew that school was going to be my only out. That was the only way that I was going to be able to get any place. I didn't have the luxury of being able to fall back on a parent who had, just had it made. And so I worked my butt off to be able to essentially to get where we were, where we had to go to graduate. And I went to Lansing Eastern. I think you're a Quaker as well. Yeah, go Quakers.
I love the Quakers.
Yeah. And I had some of the best teachers. Her name is Mrs. Holmes. Now my English teacher. She was so supportive. I had her in the 9th and 12th grade. I think even maybe the 11th grade because I took some AP and IB classes because I was really dedicated. I was like, I need to be, if I go into a classroom setting where, there's a bunch of class clowns, I'm not going to be able to learn as much. I need to be dedicated and know that my mission is focused directly on getting to college and going wherever direction that I decide to go.
Your story, you and I are going to go for about 3 hours right now, but your Bluetooth might. But your story is so similar to mine. I mean, I was super focused. I didn't have time because I watched that same exact thing. We're going to talk about a lot, but I want to tell you one quote that I look at every single day, and it's "Genius is lost in poverty." And your story, your genius could have easily been lost in the poverty around us.
Well, and here's it.
By the way, that's a clue to everybody. This woman's a genius.
I don't know about that. I know a lot of different. I know a little bit about a lot of different things, but I don't know about genius. No, so Jerry, to that point, and I know I've been watching your show a lot, and I've been hearing you talk about gun violence and things like that. So a lot of it has to do with starting at home. And that was one of my missions. I have a ton of different missions, but that was one of my missions when I ran for state representative, was to be able to impact people that were in poverty. And I think a lot of what gets translated is when somebody's angry. 'Cause I was an angry child, so I would love to tell you that poverty was the biggest obstacle that I had to overcome, but it wasn't. I watched my mom, and this is going to be a clue to my business. So I watched my mom, who worked so hard for everything that we had, but we didn't have too much, go in and out of terrible relationships. And the first one that she had, it really, it really took something out of her. And when I say that, I mean her self-esteem, her self-confidence. I mean, it was extremely low. You had a man who came in with a mission to break our family, and it did. I was probably about 10. My brother was probably about, I don't know. If I was 10, my brother would have been about 6 or 7. And at first, everything started off really, like, oh, it's going to be the dream family. And then everything just kind of turned. He started abusing my brother. I was sexually abused. My mom was mentally and emotionally abused. I mean, it was a horrible, horrible time. And I'm going through this from middle school onto high school. And I couldn't tell anybody. I couldn't say anything to anybody because and this is my Bluetooth, because um, they wouldn't believe me, right? I'm just some kid that I'm in an impoverished home. Everything looks good on the outside. Lorenzo, 2 seconds. No, you can't
You
play
guys,
with.
y'all know I love single moms, or not, I don't even know you're single. I'm sorry, you're not single. I love mothers because they're always so busy and always juggling so much. Um,
Yeah, and
and
here's Hercules.
I love kids too. If you've ever watched the show, so hey Hercules, what's up?
Yeah, he's 9 months. This is what 9 months old looks like.
and
So
and that's Lorenzo, right?
yes, this is Lorenzo. Lorena's upstairs. She's not feeling good, so she's still sleeping. But yeah, so to that point, I mean, that's the reason why, like, people would probably think like, okay, well, while you're in high school, why are you thinking like an adult? And that's why, because I'm in adult situations. And if you met me in high school, this is right after my mom finally got the for better of lack words, balls to be able to leave, because she was so scared for, I want to say we were in that for about 6 or 7 years. She was so scared to leave. She finally left. She didn't necessarily understand what was going on with me and him. She thought we had a father-daughter relationship, but no man just goes and lays in a 12 or 13-year-old bed in underwear. I mean, it was just, I don't know, it was weird. And just some of the things that I had to go through. So at 16, I was angry because I started to realize, like, this isn't normal, right? This is what normal people go through. And then how is it that my mom, she didn't protect me? And so, I'm going through life, and when I talk about impoverished kids, especially, that hurt that they have, it comes out as anger, because they don't know any other way to be able to express it. They don't know how to explain, like, my mom isn't there, my dad is on drugs, or he's in prison, and I don't have anybody, or we don't have water, we don't have food. They don't know how to express that, and in a way, it's embarrassing, and you don't want to. And the other thing is, you don't want to get your parents in trouble, right? So it's just like, you hold it all inside, and so when you start talking about kids that are angry, that are in poverty, yes, they are angry because they don't know any other way to be. And I'm sorry, I kind of got off. I kind of got off topic, but that's my childhood and where I was born and raised in a nutshell. After in 2011, I graduated high school, which it's been 10 years. Um, so I decided to go to California. I decided to go to California to study fashion design, because I wanted to be a fashion designer since I was in 5th grade. And so I decided to move out there, and then some stuff happened out there, and I'm like, you know what? I'd rather just be at home. So I came back. I started working. Finally managed to get my own place. Met my husband. You're so loud. Met my husband, and have been working towards trying to get RQF up since 2014, because like in my pitch that there's not a lot of fashion places. Like Michigan, of course, isn't the fashion capital. So it's extremely difficult to get started in fashion. And I'm one of those people that, I'm hard-headed, but I really feel like we can do stuff no matter what kind of environment or situation we may be in. And I decided, I'm going to start this business. So that's what has kind of brought me to today.
Well, I have a couple questions before we jump into RQF, if you don't mind, and one comment. First of all, thank you for giving us insight and other angles at looking at poverty and gun violence and anger and stuff like that. I really appreciate that. And also thank you for being so sincere and authentic with your story. And, I love all you guys so much, and it breaks my heart, but it's how we were kind of get here, I think, sometimes. So again, thank you for that. You mentioned one teacher as someone you had a 9th and 12th and maybe 11th. I always say that Lansing raised me, that to get me out of poverty, I had coaches and mentors and teachers and even my mom and my dad, all making sure that I succeeded. Do you feel like that, or?
It definitely takes a village, and I think I commented on that on one of the shows that you had. It takes a village to be able to really help somebody see their potential, and that's why networking is important. That's why people that actually love their jobs is important, especially in the school system, because you see a lot of stuff. And it can be very difficult. There's quotas you got to meet. There's, trying to get somebody to the next grade, and then maybe a parent's not present. And you're like, well, what am I supposed to do? But really taking kids underneath your wing and being able to help them see their potential, it's an amazing thing. And so, I always knew what my potential was as a student and a person. That wasn't my issue, but having somebody who could challenge me, having somebody that could make me think outside the box and be able to help me see, education for what it was, especially like my AP English class. I mean, I was able to really think outside of the box with some of the papers that I was able to write. My AP government teacher, he was amazing. We would go back and forth in class. People would be like, "Oh my goodness, I wish they would be quiet," but it was just that they were challenging me to be something better. They were challenging me to think a different way. And, for me, I always knew that I didn't want to be another statistic. But for other people, that's all they know. All they know is, my grandma's been on the system, so I need to continue. I have an aunt who told me when I got pregnant to go out and get on welfare. And I'm saying, I work at Bank of America. I don't need to get on welfare. Oh, you're still not making enough money. Go get on welfare. So that's the mentality that we're dealing with when we're talking about generational curses and generational issues that are deeply rooted within our communities. And so, having a teacher that could push me, and, we just recently got reconnected on Facebook. She probably doesn't realize the impact that she had, and, Mr. Jason, Mr. Lubick, all of these people that were just there for me in my darkest moments. I cannot thank them enough.
You are right in my sweet spot when it comes to those teachers, because I had Mr. Spagnolia. So I graduated in 84, a lot longer before you. And Mr. Spagnolia was my AP English teacher, and he changed my life. I use the quotes I learned there all of the time. I write in his style. He even got me into Columbia, but I turned it down to go to Michigan. It was amazing people. We're lucky.
Absolutely. And the fact that we were able to meet such talented, emotionally connected individuals to be able to push us, because we could have easily been a part of the problem instead of right now where we're a part of the solution.
Sorry, I got to find my keys real quick.
Oh, no, you're fine. Hey, look, we love interruptions, right? That's what we said. So definitely it's a two-way street.
So, okay. Let's jump into RQF and some of your projects that you're doing there. RQF Boutique.
Yeah, so really RQF, as some of you heard in the beginning, it was founded on fashion, of course. And to me, fashion has always been a way to be able to self-express just your story and who you are and how you want to present yourself to the world. And in a deeper cause, I decided to focus on women's fashion because after watching not just my mom, but just countless women in general in my life that have had issues, with self-esteem, terrible relationships, and things like that. I decided that my mission was going to be to focus on women, and to encourage them to be able to just practice self-care, self-love, and so that's where we're at the business today. So I have the boutique side of things where we're looking at just different special occasions. We're talking about like date night, especially because us moms, after, I had two babies in like 2 or 3 years. So it was like trying to give back to me was so difficult. And I began to really get an understanding of what might have happened to my mom because if you don't have support, if you don't have somebody encouraging you, especially during those darkest moments, and you just had babies and your kids are growing up, you're getting older, that transitional period that you go through is hard. It is extremely difficult for women. And so that's why we specifically focus on that, trying to get them to just love themselves again, whether it be what you're wearing, because sometimes just getting up, taking a shower, and getting dressed and putting makeup on, that it makes you confident, it makes you feel good. And trying to just encourage women to keep doing that for themselves, because the more we pour out, we gotta constantly pour it back in, because if we don't, we face things like burnout, depression, and it gets really hard to keep going sometimes. So that's one of our biggest focus, and one of my biggest projects right now. I just released a style guide to be able to help with women that don't necessarily understand fashion but want to be fashion forward. We just put together a style guide for them to be able to go in, answer some questions, and to be able to pick their perfect outfit for any occasion based on their answers.
So how can somebody find that?
Yeah, so if you go to go.rqfboutique.com, then
Oh, okay.
it will be, what you shaking your head no for? You're supposed to be saying yes, yes, go.rqfboutique.com. They'll be able to, it will immediately take them to that page. And if they still have issues using the guide, I also have a master class for them that they can get to be able to go where I go step by step, and I show them what they're supposed to be doing. I'm explaining the step on why it's important. But I'll tell you the truth. I have about it's over 10 years of fashion experience.
Yeah.
I have over 10 years worth of fashion experience. And so this has been all the things that I've used, not only for myself, but other clients, to be able to help them, their experience, and to really take what it is that they want to express on the outside to that next level.
Yeah. Do you mind if I go back 10 years maybe and ask you a couple questions?
Absolutely.
Like for example, I definitely want to talk about one and all for a minute, if you're okay with that.
Sure.
But also, you were one of the people in the runway, which was in the Naps building, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So you had that incubator, you had one and all. You've got some other things in the works that I don't know if you want to talk about or not, but exciting stuff for sure.
Yeah,
Maybe we
yeah.
can talk about that some other time.
Absolutely. I'm down to talk about it.
So how was the runway?
So the runway for me, it happened. So in 2016, I had a stillbirth, and I was lost. I didn't know if I was coming or going. So in 2017, when they said that they had a fashion incubator, I was trying to get back to myself, and trying to understand, all these emotions and feelings that I'm feeling, and just trying to understand me, and trying to give myself a purpose because I felt like I lost it. And so when I was able to enter into the runway, I finally thought like, yes, we have a program in Michigan that's helping people in the fashion industry. But what ended up happening, because I had some interns at that time, I didn't necessarily utilize this space, and they didn't necessarily have what I needed, because I still had what you wanted to talk about. I was still focused on that. And so I was doing a ton of research. So during that time, I was doing a ton of like market research, putting together pitches. And so I kind of needed the One and All program in 2017. And then I would have needed the Fashion Incubator in 2021 to really be able to kind of make it kind of mesh together the way that it was supposed to. But I met some amazing people. Joe Carr, who was amazing. He let me pitch to him. And he's looking at my pitch deck. He's like, okay, you got the pitch deck, but then I'm trying to pitch it. And he's like, we got some work to do. And I'm like, yeah, dang, I know. So I wonder how what did he think about the pitch that I gave? I'd love to hear some feedback from the One and All pitch. But yeah, so that's kind of where I was at back in 2017. So the runway, it was amazing. I was super sad when they had to close it. And at that time, we were called the Royal Queens of Fashion. It was a mouthful, had the .com and everything. And I was wondering why nobody could go to the website. Nobody could spell it.
I never knew for a long time that RQF was that, because I remember the Royal Queens of Fashion because I helped out around the runway once in a while. Yeah. But not a lot of direct stuff with you all.
Okay, yeah, no, they were amazing. So when I ran in so I started the run in 2017, 2018. So when I ran, they allowed me to do like my my launch party there. They let me use the space. Yeah, I mean, they were great. It was just, like I said, I needed the One and All program in 2017 and the runway in 2021.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Those flip-flops would have been great together.
It'd been amazing.
Well, I got you. You can come here anytime.
Absolutely. You guys, the Fledge is amazing. I seen you guys on the news and I'm like, yeah, Jerry.
Well, thank you. Let's talk about some more of the upcoming stuff with RQF Boutique. You want to?
Yeah, absolutely. So, really, essentially, RQF is a fashion technology company. And what our goal is to be able to unlock the awesome, amazing potential in the fashion industry. You okay, baby? So the fashion industry has really been locked to a group of people for a long time just because of where they're at. It's supposed to be, about who you know. No, son, you can't have that on here. It's supposed to be about who you know.
It's actually illegal to tell someone they can't breastfeed in any forum in all 50 states.
Oh, is it? I did not know that.
I want to take the second to tell everybody that.
Oh, well, son, maybe you can. So no. I lost my train of thought, Jerry. Where were we?
You're a fashion.
Fashion technology company. Yeah. So essentially what we want to do is we want to unlock the potential of the fashion industry and be able to make it easier for people to become successful, jump into the fashion industry if they want to, live out their dream, become successful. So think about this, Henry Ford. I love using Henry. Amazing. So Bluetooth died.
I can still hear you.
2 seconds.
All right. We might go into an echo, everyone, but we're going to deal with it.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
You can hear me. Oh, I think it paused.
Yes. It's not paused. It will. Yeah, we'll come back and it should be all right.
Oh, it's still not working.
Yeah, we're good now.
Yeah, I can't hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Give me
2 seconds, okay?
All right.
Gummy.
I got to hold the show for a minute, and I'm excited about what she's going to talk about because her and I haven't talked about it yet, but I love slowing down the fashion industry, and I love decentralizing it because I think we could start producing stuff locally, like actually making the textile, and love where she's going with this. So, what else should we talk about? Anyone out there listening? Have any questions? That would be good. Tomorrow on the show, we're going to have Melina Brand, which I'm going to talk about in a second, but she is the executive director of the Women's Center of Lansing and very much relevant to some of what we were talking about earlier today. So, what else? The wrestling. Oh, I should say pledge.com/events is back up and running. And if you go there, you can see who's going to be on every damn day. You can see when wrestling is. You can see when NA meetings are. You can see when we've got all kinds of different events. We've got shows getting booked. We've got weddings getting booked. We've got a couple of concerts. We have the drawing class every Wednesday at 7. We're going to have a couple of, unfortunately, probably a memorial, things of
I'm
that
not 100%
nature.
sure why I can't hear you.
Do you
Had something that was going to be able to. Here, let me see if I can pull it up on my laptop.
you
I'm
can't hear
sorry.
me right now? Oh, that's okay, Clarissa. It happens. So
Gotta love technical difficulties.
I forgot what else I was saying. Oh yeah, Clarissa hinted on me talking about gun violence. I love what Michael Lynn's doing and saying, and I love the ceasefire Lansing. We've got to put the guns down, and
All right, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna pull up the live on YouTube on my laptop, and then I'll just keep talking into the camera.
There's a
Does that sound
10-second. There's a 10-second delay.
Well, I would talk to the live.
There's a 10-second delay. Yeah.
It's pulling up, but it's not working.
There's a 10-second delay.
On the okay.
So you tell us
So
about
let's see how we're gonna make it work.
RFQ Boutique.
1 second. That's what my guy's doing.
So you tell us about RFQ Boutique.
1 second. That's what my guy's doing.
I wonder why StreamYard won't work with her. Why can't you use StreamYard, Clarissa? On your laptop. Why can't you use StreamYard, Clarissa?
Use what?
The StreamYard.
That's what I was thinking about doing because you said it's a 10-second delay, so I'm just gonna pull it up here.
All right. We'll get back on this in a second.
And then I'm gonna exit here, or just leave this up.
Whichever you prefer. Hello, new viewers. We're in the middle of switching tech because we had a Bluetooth problem. So what do you think about that? Can you still hear me?
Now I can hear you. Okay.
All right.
Together, one way or another, we're gonna get it. We're gonna get it finished.
All right. This is great. So you were in the middle of a story about the tech fashion company, and I don't know exactly where we were when we cut off.
Yeah. So essentially, what I was explaining is that there's a lot of potential within the fashion industry to really to help people become successful, but I feel like there's a lack of technology, a lack of just willpower to really get it done. So what we want to do is we want to utilize what did you tell me to say? A proprietary software. So we want to utilize a proprietary software to really help us unlock that potential, not only for our clients, which would be people that love fashion. Maybe they're not fashion forward, or they don't know too much about fashion, and they want an experience of luxury with fashion. But then we're also going to be able to help people that are in the fashion industry in areas like Michigan, let's talk about Nebraska, Utah, all of these places that are just not known for fashion, but they probably have some really great talent. We want to be able to help them become successful where they're at.
Okay. Sorry, I'm getting interrupted left and right.
No, you're fine.
One of the things that when I look at an entrepreneur that is growing, and I look at even somebody who's in poverty, they need three different things. They need access to some knowledge, they need access to some funding, and they need access to a marketplace where they can do their stuff. You are doing an incredible service. I hope you can still hear me.
I hear you, Jerry, and that's absolutely that's exactly why. So my upbringing, and just being able to understand that when people when they're not educated, when there's not access to being able to understand something, or when funding, even for me right now, is difficult. And so not having that understanding of even being able to how do you access the funds, right? So there's a lot of people that don't even know the steps. So trying to condense these steps down that would hinder somebody from being able to be successful, that is my goal, because there's so many people that they have so much potential, but they're not able to utilize it. And here's the crybaby, she's coming. They're able to utilize it because of their circumstances. So give me 1 second.
So I really love the solution because of the way that it empowers entrepreneurs, it empowers women. I'm being a little biased there, but I think that's because it's Clarisa's kind of target market. But obviously there are lots of men and women and non-binary and gender fluid and LGBTQIA people in the fashion industry. But I do like that Clarisa is focusing on empowering women. So.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Jerry. Yes, I think as business owners, it's less about money and more about the impact on the community at the end of the day. Because if you're doing the right thing, money will come. Yeah. But if you're doing it for the wrong reasons, then there's really no point, because our mission in life should really be able to impact and enrich other people's lives at the end of the day.
The more I do work like this that I think has a positive impact on the community, the less money I even think about needing. I mean, it just falls into place and life starts being a lot more fulfilling.
Absolutely. And I think that should be our goal. So I was watching the movie, they made the movie about Think and Grow Rich.
Yeah.
So I was watching, so they made it into a movie, and that's exactly what they were talking about. It's less about actually like the material thing and more about the richness of your life. How can you enrich your life with family, friends, connections, your mission? And that should be something that everybody, not just entrepreneurs, think about, because everybody has the potential to be able to be impactful in some way.
Yeah, see how much richer our show is today because the Hulk is making an appearance. Is that what you call him, the Hulk?
Yeah, no, Hercules. Yes, Hercules.
Oh, Hercules.
Look at him. He's not.
I knew it was someone big.
He has bigger biceps than I do.
He's got a great smile. It sneaks out every once in a while.
He does. I was looking at that. His smile is it's the cutest thing I've ever seen, besides his sisters.
Yeah. Is she going to get a time on air?
Well, she's not dressed for occasion.
So, is there anything else you want to talk about with RQF Boutique?
Honestly, it's just within the community, just letting them know I'm here. COVID has kind of, especially because I was pregnant basically the whole time COVID was going on, so it made it extremely difficult for me to be able to get out into the community and get to events, just because I'm a high-risk pregnancy every time I'm pregnant. So it was just, trying to keep our family safe. So just know that we're here. I would love to connect to anybody within the fashion industry. that's looking to be able to either get experience or just be able to talk to other fashion people, just because it's so important to be able to connect and network, even outside the fashion industry. So I would love to be able to connect with anyone who has an entrepreneurial spirit, and stop pulling my hair, son. And yeah, just come shop RQF Boutique. Go check out our style guide. Give me some feedback. Let me know what you guys think. So take a look at the masterclass, and yeah, I also, just so that way I don't forget. So if for whatever reason they're not able to use the style guide, masterclass doesn't help, I also offer one more service, which would be an actual personal styling session with me. They can get 2 30-minute sessions plus an additional 30 minutes free. So that's something that, everybody can take advantage of, to just, have that experience of luxury and a personal fashion stylist helping you with that special occasion.
All right. I love what you're doing. I see you making it possible for the fashion industry to be decentralized. And I say decentralize everything, because then we can solve problems, local problems.
Absolutely.
And love what you're doing.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much, Jerry.
So what's something you do every damn day to push your mission forward?
So every day, and I was thinking about this. Don't bite me, son. I do a couple different things. The first thing, let me tell you about the last 30 days, what I've been doing. I have been waking up with a mindset of gratitude.
Nice.
Because of course, and we've talked about this off air, I was going through postpartum depression. And this time of year is extremely difficult for me, because it's coming up on 5 years for my stillbirth. Her name was Yanara. And it's that she'll be 5 tomorrow, actually. So this time of year is always super difficult for me. And just with everything that I've been doing, I just graduated with my actual bachelor's degree in business in December. Now I'm working on my master's. I have 2 kids. I have a business I'm running. I have Bank of America, who is going to be calling me back probably any day, to go back to work. So it's like, I'm doing a lot, and I got to be thankful though, because all that could be super overwhelming, and it is, but I got to be thankful, because who would have thought 5 years later I would have 2 kids, right? Who would have thought I would be in the position that I'm in to actually live out what I'm calling my dream, right? So having an attitude of gratitude has been my mission for the last 30 days, and I've seen my life change drastically, because the things that used to bother me and that would happen in a day, they don't bother me anymore. It's like, man, that's just my day, and you know what? I'm thankful that I can have days like this, because some people can't.
That's gratuity like that gratuity mindset is so powerful.
It is.
I mean, I've had so many people that want to help me get through a trauma that they say, just do that. Tell your toothbrush you're thankful.
But it's hard in the moment.
Yeah.
It is extremely, so I can sit up here and I can say, just do it. But actually having, stop it, son. Actually having those moments where I didn't want to live, right? And having to, I was in a deep depression. Just being in this tunnel of darkness and saying, okay, God, you know what? I'm thankful that I have 2 healthy kids. And then I'd start seeing a little bit of light. I'm thankful that I'm not doing this alone. And then a little bit more light. I'm thankful that I even have a job, that I can be a homeowner. Then a little bit more light, just that. And my dad tells me, take it one day at a time. Sometimes it's 1 hour, one 30-minute session, one minute at a time. And that's really what helped me to be able to get to where I'm at right now, where I feel happy. I'm sick and I feel happy.
Yeah. And again, I wrote the name down. I hope I still say it right. Yanara. Y-A-N-A-R-A. Thank you. I'm sorry to hear about that.
And I am too, but you know what? Everything happens for a reason. And during that time, I wouldn't, if you would have told me that, I would have wanted to fight you. But to be honest, everything really does happen because look what I have now. Look at, the beautiful family that we were able to create. And because before her, I didn't want kids. I was like, oh, kids? Ugh, I don't want to, because I was so focused on my career. I didn't think I'd have the time to put into having kids. And so when that happened, it really opened up my mind to being able to allow me to rethink what I thought of happiness and family. And so a lot changed. Yeah.
Yeah. For extra emphasis.
Yes. Yeah.
So we daisy chain these shows together. And yesterday on the show, we had Kathy Dunbar, who's running for mayor, a city council, runs a kind of a food bank community center on the south side. Her question to you is, when have you ever seen racism happening and intervene? And what did you do? How did you do that? How, do you have an anti-racist strategy, I guess?
All right. So I guess being a minority, I haven't just seen it happen. I've had it happen to me.
Right.
So, and so to answer her question, I have. There's been a few occasions. I'll tell you the first story of it happening. I was probably a little bit older than my daughter. I was probably maybe 4 or 5, and we went to. There used to be a laundromat off of 127, kind of going towards St. John's. There was a store and a laundromat right off. I don't know the actual the street, but there was a dirt road. There was cornfields. There was a laundromat, and so we were at this laundromat, and there was a lady and her daughter, and we were playing, and the lady was white, her daughter was white. And the lady said, "Get away from that black girl. You don't play with her." I will never forget that. That was the first experience. And so my mom came and immediately got me and separated me from those people. That was my earliest memory of having something racist happen to me. And of course, at the time, I didn't understand it. But I always remember she said, "Get away from that black girl." And I didn't understand because my family didn't raise me like that. I come from a Latino home where, as you can see, Treviño, that's pretty Latino. So it was I don't understand what she's talking about. And my family always told me, you're a Heinz 57, you're mixed with everything. So I was extremely confused. And so as I got older, I started to understand a little bit more of what that specifically meant. And I was put in other environments. So I had an incident where I work, where they talk about diversity and inclusion and all this great stuff. But I had a manager tell me that she didn't think that I knew how to talk to people with money. And it was because of the way that I was raised and what I was around. And I had to, I thought, this is my boss, so I really can't say too much. That same boss told me, she made a joke. She said, make sure that you have your umbrella for your hair because, black people don't want to get their hair wet. And I had to politely tell her, look, first of all, I don't know what type of black people that you're around. I said, but I'm mixed and there's nothing wrong with my hair getting wet. And it really made me mad because it's who are you to talk to me like that? So I had to pull her in her office and let her know. And she felt like just because she had 2 mixed kids that she could talk, she had the right to talk to somebody else like that. And I said, no, I don't know what's wrong with your children's hair, but my hair is fine. I'll have no problem with water or getting water in my hair. That's ignorant. Then I had another manager. Stop it. I had another manager, same business. I had another manager who I was in the break room eating or waiting to eat. I had my food in the microwave and I'm sitting there with my fork in my mouth and she comes back and she starts laughing. And I'm laughing with her. I'm like, what's funny? She goes, "Oh, that's so ghetto." And I was like, what? What's ghetto? And she was like, "Oh, just the way that you're sitting over there." And I'm thinking to myself, lady, you don't even know the definition of ghetto. And if I showed you, then you'd understand. But I had to take a step back because this is the place that I work. And so I had to, had to pull somebody else aside and say, hey, look, this is what happened. And then she had the nerve to tell me that she didn't feel like I felt like that in the moment. And I'm looking at her like, lady, if I would have jumped on you and shown you what ghetto was, then you would have understood. But because I didn't do that, you felt like it was okay. It wasn't okay. So I guess to answer the question, there's been countless times that I've seen racism, and what I do is I stick up for myself. I give them the definition of ghetto. I give them the definition that they're looking for when they want to call me out of my name. Because honestly, this is 2021. We don't deal with stuff like that. And for anybody who thinks that just because they're a certain race or just because maybe an experience that they've had, and so they feel like they can kind of group everybody together, it's not going to work. And I'm an intelligent Afro-Latina who will gladly put them in their place.
Yeah. Like I said, you're a genius. I love the way you're talking. You're an entrepreneur through and through. I mean, you got it. I love the way you think. I love the way you don't think small, you think super big. What motivates you in that entrepreneurialism? Is it so you don't have to put up with this shit?
At first it was.
I swore in front of your children.
Oh, yeah, that's okay. He's 9 months. He's not going to understand none of this. At first it was because I was like, man, these people are stupid. I don't understand why they think like this. Now it's because I really, really, really want to give back. I really have a burning, it's like a fire that I can't, like, nothing puts it out. Even in my darkest moments. So I was going through that depression over the last 5 months. I still managed to put that style guide together because it was important to me. It was important for me to be able to get this knowledge out and help somebody else. So for me, I'm a Christian, and I think that God puts a mission in everyone, and I'm trying my hardest to live up to mine, to be able to move forward and to just continue to spread the light of positivity and love that He has given me, that He has blessed me with.
I love it. So tomorrow on the show, I've got Melina Brand, from the executive director of the Women's Center of Lansing. What question would you like me to pass to Melina?
So I'm specifically getting ready to focus on mom entrepreneurs. I call them mompreneurs, which is not my word. I promise if you Google it, it's there.
Yeah, it's a thing.
It is definitely a thing. And so my question is, so as a mom entrepreneur, have you ever faced burnout? And if you have, why do you think it happened? Do you think it was because of lack of support? Do you think it was because of lack of self-care, or anything that you might have thought that caused it? I know personally I had a combination of all of the above. And then what did you do to combat that? What did you do to come back and say, okay, I'm gonna get it done?
Yeah. And if I'll double check. I don't think Melina's a mom yet.
Okay.
But we'll double check with that, and okay. I'll switch the word accordingly.
Okay. Just the entrepreneur in general.
Now I'm gonna kind of flip it on you a little bit, and I think you've touched on it here and there. But what about you? Like facing burnout? How'd you get there? What did you do to deal with it?
So burnout. So I decided that I was going to take on a bunch of different missions at once. I said, I'm pregnant, and I had always wanted to go back and get my degree after I had Janara, and I just I did off and on. I went to LCC, but after I got pregnant with Lorena, I was like, dang it, I need to start something and finish it, because how am I going to tell her to do the same thing if I'm not doing it? So I decided that I was going to go back to college, and she was probably about 3 months. And I went back to college, Lorena. I went back to college, and we go through a transitional phase within the business where I'm changing the name from the Royal Queens of Fashion to RQF Boutique, because it was just too long and we needed to do a rebranding. So I'm facing that. I'm getting all the stuff together with that, and then I have her, and I'm still in school because I told myself I wanted to finish. And so I'm powering through. She turns 1 and I'm still in school. She went through terrible 2 way before she was 2. And so I'm you want pizza rolls? Okay, you can have pizza rolls in just a second, okay, baby? Let me just finish this and then I'll get you some pizza rolls. So I'm working at Bank of America. I work a 9 to 5. I'm going to school. Yeah, go watch Lion King for mommy. I'm working a 9 to 5 at Bank of America. I have a business I'm running. I have a baby, and then I have another baby. So I get pregnant again, and I'm like, geez, like that's all condensed. And so I stopped taking care of myself completely. With Lorena, it was all about her every single day. I barely got dressed for 3 months. And then I went back to work. It started to get a little bit better, but I still didn't take time for me. And I'm doing everything. I'm doing a ton of different stuff. My husband's a roofer, so he does a very hard job. And at the end of the day, he's just tired. And so a lot of stuff just kind of it felt like it fell on my shoulders. Really? So after I had Lorenzo, it all just kind of caught up with me. I graduated college in December of 2020, and I was like, yay, on to the next thing. I'm going to go get my master's because I'm crazy. I was like, I just want to get it all done at once. And so I'm still in school, and then instead of having a little break with school, because typically they give me like a 2-week break until my next class because they're all 5-week courses. Instead of doing that, it's like a 5-week course on top of a 5-week course, and I'm powering through, right? And it got to a point where I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what day it was. COVID's happening, so nobody can come over. My mom had COVID like 4 times, so she really didn't want to be around. And I'm just here looking at my 4 walls. And I got extremely everything just seemed like it was too much. So my dad, he had been telling me, because long story short, I met my dad when I was 16. So my dad, he told me to come down, because we started to get a better relationship over the last couple of years, especially after having 2 kids. And so he's like, come on down with the grandkids, because he hadn't met Lorenzo yet. He had seen Lorena, but he hadn't met Lorenzo. So he's like, come on down, we'll power through this, because he could tell that I was ready to jump off a bridge, like legitimately. It was really bad. And then I started the One and All program. I was in a really, really bad space. So I bought a 1-way ticket to Georgia because I was like, I don't know when I'm coming back. I'll come back when I'm ready. And that probably was the best thing that I could do for myself. I got away from the environment. I got away from the same old things. I was able to take some time for myself. We went to the beach. We went on car rides. We visited my grandparents in Mississippi, who I hadn't seen in like 10 years. So I was able to, and then, they raise kids differently down there. So he's giving me some parenting advice down there. Long story short, my dad was in the military for 25 years. So he's a very straight-nosed, narrow, he's to the point. So, and of course, Southern raising of children are a bit different than up here. So he's giving me some tips, especially because Lorena is super spirited. And he's showing me the things that I need to do to be able to help get myself back on track. And that was the best thing that I could do for myself. And then when I felt like I was ready, I didn't have all the answers, but I felt like I was ready. I was in that mindset of gratitude that I told you. I was like, let's do it. Let's try. I got to go back to my life eventually. And figure out, with my husband, what we're going to do moving forward, and go back and get the kids on a normalized schedule back home, and just take the time and focus on me and my family, because I think I lost that and transition somewhere. I was doing so many things, and, it felt like the weight of the world was on my shoulders that I forgot that my family is the most important thing through all of this.
You're a badass.
Thank you. Thank you.
Happiness, sadness, joy, or hope? Which word or combination?
I would say joy and hope.
So, what's joy?
Joy is being able to look back on your life and saying, I am so glad that I am not where I started.
Yeah. And what gives you hope?
Lorena, go sit down. Go play with your tablet. Go get your tablet. What gives me hope? Oh my goodness, you would ask me that. So hope is a feeling of knowing that there is a joyous expectation, something good is going to happen. Whether you make it happen, whether it just happens to you. That's why it's so important to be kind to everyone you meet. So hope is just that feeling of knowing that wherever you're at, it's not where you're ending. You have the power to keep going. And yeah, that's hope for me.
That gratitude, that hope, that kindness, all those things are infinite and contagious and abundant.
Absolutely.
You just need to use them.
Absolutely.
All right. So we got to get someone to some pizza rolls. So let's get this done real quick. Thank you so very much. I love what you're doing as an entrepreneur, as a member of our community, as someone raising these great kids. You're telling sad stories, and Lorenzo's got me smiling. So,
hey, that's what they're here for, the cuteness overload.
yeah, so there's my definition of joy. You would have seen it on the screen a couple of times. So, what would you like to take us out with?
I would like to take us out with just this. Remember that whoever you meet, wherever you are in life, your journey is not done. Remember that you have so much unlimited, untapped potential that you are able to give back to your community. You're able to give back to your family. It doesn't stop here. Your life doesn't stop when you think that it stopped. It's just getting started. So continue to push forward and really be the solution that you want to see. Be the person that you want to be, because that's exactly what I'm doing here today. I am being the person that I wish that I had when I was a kid. And I'll tell you, your life will be abundantly better. You'll have so much love that you don't know what to do with. So I pray that for all of you as we get ready to move forward.
Thanks for spreading the love. Thanks for spreading this knowledge, and thanks for spending a little bit of time with us today.
Absolutely, my pleasure, Jerry. Thank you again for having me on. I appreciate you.
All right, see you all.